World War II, when the Japanese attacked us, everybody knew who the enemy was. People went down and lied to the Selective Service Bureau to get in to go fight the enemy.
At 16 years old.
At 16 years old. Democrats, Republicans, you didn't care if somebody's a liberal, progressive, or anything else. They all went down and they volunteered. And they all went out there to fight, and they all ended up in foxholes. And I guarantee you, if you were in a foxhole with progressive, you wouldn't care one whit. What you would ask them is, you know how to throw that hand grenade? Do you know how to shoot straight? Or, will you cover my butt? If we get enemy coming from behind, you take from there, I'll take from the front. That's all you care about when you're in a foxhole in a war. America has been fighting amongst itself because of race baiters. I won't mention any names, but you know who they are.
I will later.
By political baiters who continue to exacerbate the battle between left and right, Republicans and Democrats, conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to say. Every time there's a little bit of peace in the party, somebody throws in a piece of raw meat. That's not by accident. That piece of raw meat comes in to make sure you keep fighting amongst yourselves so that you will not see us. You can't see the real enemy as long as you're fighting in the street with all these other people over these stupid issues. Americans need to get a grip on this. They really do. They need to see who the enemy is, and they need to clean house at this point from the ground up. There's nothing we can do about national politics. You and I aren't going to do anything about the EPA. What do we know about the EPA? We can't even get in. Can't even find their office. We can't do anything about Obama or Biden or any of those other people. They're in there to stay until they get elected out. So where do we have influence? Let's not just gnash our teeth. We have influence in our own local communities where this stuff has been brought down to us and spoon-fed us for the last 15 years, and we're wondering why our communities are going to hell in a handbasket. May I suggest, technocracy has trickled down from the top all the way down to your local community. And if you want to do something about technocracy, kick it out of your local community. And when you're done with that, go to your county and kick it out of your county. And when you're done with that, go to your state house and educate your state senators and congressmen who have been watching by that time.
Unbelievable.
It'll put the fear of God in the people up above, saying, you know what, the people are rising up. They may have pitchforks and shovels, that maybe that's all they have, but the people are rising up, and maybe we need to adjust our whatever,
We've got way more than that, and we won't be turning loose of them either, no matter what how hard they try to disarm us. We won't be, because this is precisely what the Second Amendment is for.
It is. It is. And
notice what happened when I'm sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
I just hope it never comes to that. I don't want to see people die.
Well, neither do I, but certainly some of that would be deserved. Some of these people are absolutely and completely guilty of treason.
They are.
A treason. I'm using the word treason here. And it's so prophetic, and I've said this many times, but my grandfather, who helped build the USS Maryland, the battleship on which my dad was stationed when attacked at Pearl Harbor, predicted the war with Japan many years before it happened. And I asked my dad what he predicted, and he just got this wan little smile. He said, the thing about the next one is, you won't know who you're fighting. And that stayed with me for 30, 40 years now. Well, right. Now we do, don't we?
Yeah, now we do.
This character named Harry Pierce said he was talking about the enemy. Said, I joined up because I knew who the enemy was. And I wanted to fight them. And the guy he was talking to said, and they had a flag so you could see them. And he said, gave me something to drape over the coffin. Now, this is a fictitious character. The sad thing about it is if we're going to do any of that draping, it's the United Nations flag or the flag of the United States. And it makes me sick seeing our people being sent into these countless undeclared wars. And they lie about the statistics. They lie about the number of people who are killed over there. They lie about the injuries, these grievous injuries, and then treat them poorly when they come back. And then if they don't behave at the VA office, then some cop comes in there and puts his knee on an old veteran's neck and kills him. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with any of this. I totally understand why the original patriots, the Nathan Hales and the Patrick Henrys and the Washingtons, I understand why they went, we've had enough of this. We're going to war with these people right now. And maybe we should go to war with these people like right now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this program up on YouTube. And I am. I want the whole world to see this. In fact, I may take everything else off of there so that this is the only program that is seen up there. I don't want any distractions. I want people to get this information, and I can't imagine that you're getting greeting cards from the authorities for your work. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine what kind of blowback, personally or professionally, that you've experienced or may in the future. But I have to tell you, man, I admire what you've done as much as I can admire anything other than the Lord himself. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is just, I mean, we have wanted to know the answer to this. I mean, I was reaching too. Well, who is it? You know, is it like that? I mean, did they freeze dry Karl Marx or maybe even Adolf? And they're really running things? Is this an off-planet deal? It's like, no, it's a bunch of mad, crazy scientists who have resurrected this insanity from the 30s. That's all it is. Crazy.
Yeah,
Literally.
it is crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. I issue essentially a call to arms, not intellectual arms, not physical arms, but America needs to have leadership step forward and take responsibility to organize, to refute, to argue, to spread information. And if America, I'm not the guy. I'm not a general. I'm just a guy who ran across this information. And I will gladly give credit to the Lord who brought this information to my attention. I don't think I would have discovered it. The circumstances were way too bizarre on how I came across this information in the first place. But I did, and I just followed my nose and I wrote it up. But I'm not the guy who's going to solve this, folks. It's Americans who are going to solve it, who take the information, understand the importance of it. This stuff is intelligence. An operation has to have good intelligence in order to run. And I'm sure that there's people in America that will take this information and say, I get it now. I see who the enemy is. We're going to organize our community. We're going to organize our whatever state. And we're going to lay strategies to kick these people back into the last century where they belong.
Yes.
And I still have some measure of faith in America that they'll do this. And, you know, people have asked me, well, what can I do? What can I do? And I say, well, for one thing, you might as well cough up some money, because when they get done with you, you're not going to have any money. Your own money's going to be gone. I don't care how rich you are. You're slated to have zero. You're going to get energy currency. Your money and your silver and gold is going to be worth nothing. You better stop these people while you still have a chance. And so the other thing is, I set up a special website, a new website called localactivist.org. I'm looking for volunteer writers, and I'm looking for people to send them tip stories. And I committed this site, John, to only write about success stories where people have fought and won some skirmish against some aspect of technocracy. I don't want to hear about the problem anymore. There's plenty of places to learn about the problem, right?
Yes.
Like here, like your program.
Yes.
I'm sure you have a lot of that. But what people need to see, from the sake of encouragement and ways to get strategy, what is other people doing? Is anybody fighting this? Is anybody finding success? You know, how is it happening? What's going on? I need to read about it. I need to see and understand it. So I created, just kind of on a lark, I said, okay, I get it. We need to tell people where success is being had. And that's what localactivist.org is going to be dedicated to. That, nothing more. No complaining, just here's the success stories in their own words and their own testimony. Take it for what it's worth.
That's beautiful.
Go thou and do likewise. You know.
So
I'm not giving up all hope. I say the fat lady hasn't sung, and you know, I'm as a Christian, I have to say, my hope does not lie in this world ultimately anyway, but we still live in the world. And you know, the actions that we have do influence our fellow citizens. And we do have a responsibility to state what we know if we know something. Even the law says that. If you know of a crime that's been committed and you say nothing, you can be held culpable for that. So in the same way, if we know some specific piece of information, we need to repeat it to those who need to hear it. That's kind of my philosophy of this whole thing right now. I am not at all sure at this point that America is done. If it plays into end time prophecy and this nation is done, I'm okay with that too. But I will point out that during World War II, when Nazi Germany was running amok in Europe, the Christians and the Jews all were certain that the end of the world is at hand.
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
Hitler was the Antichrist, that the world was doomed. And if I was there, I would have had the same view. I have to confess. I'm sure I would have. But you know what? The world didn't end. Hitler got dealt with. He got conquered. And the world returned to some sense of sanity again. And here we are in 2015. So I wouldn't want to say that, well, this is it, folks. You know, next year is going to be, I don't know, whatever, board up your windows. But I will say this, the spoils will go to the vigilant. I'm sure of that. And if we do nothing, I say the handwriting's on the wall. If we do nothing with this information, we're really in trouble in America and around the world. I think America still has time and the guts to do something about technocracy, to reject it. We rejected it in the 1930s. We did. We can reject it again if we understand what it is. I fully believe that. And I encourage people. So I'm going to reject this stuff, man. I'm going to talk about it every chance I get. I'm going to go down to city council and everywhere else in between and tell them, did you know about technocracy? Let me tell you about it. Lay it out to them. You say, you know what? All the sustainable development stuff we're doing, all this general plan that the city put together, throw it out. Get rid of it. We're not going sustainable in our town. Just forget it. I think America can do that.
You know, you make a pretty strong case for human beings themselves becoming the currency.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
But you may not be a general, but I hope you'll indulge us in a short ceremony